Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nick Ruder. I'm a research advisor with the AMO Enterprise Center and with LAS. And welcome to today's webinar, Meet AMO's Digital Service Partners. This is the second of two sessions that we've held providing overviews of our digital service partners. So before we begin, we recognize that our work as AMO, LAS, and the work of our members takes place on traditional Indigenous territories across Ontario. We recognize and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples whose presence continues to enrich our communities. So just some brief context on our digital service partnerships. Since 2017, AMO has been partnering with leaders in the technology space who want to share their solutions that encourage digital transformation of municipal administration and operations. Ultimately, with the goals of helping you discover process efficiencies, understanding the data that you're generating better, while improving ways to serve your residents and ratepayers. We have your needs in mind when we enter into these partnerships. All solutions must be scalable to the 444 municipal governments in Ontario, and many are being used by municipalities from the size of the City of Ottawa to the township of the archipelago. Solutions must also be easy to use so that users are comfortable with the technology and need little to no technical support once the solutions are implemented. We also require partners who have appropriate change management plans so that any technology or services implemented addresses impacts to current processes and how they will help your organization adjust to those changes. So with that, I'm pleased to be joined by three of our partners today. From Notarius, we have Mark St. Jacques, VP of Sales. From Cloudpermit, we have Aubrey LeBlanc, Country Director for Canada. And from GHD Digital, we have Peter Gingrich, Senior Account Executive. So the format of today's webinar is a lunch and learn. So over the course of the hour, you'll learn about the offerings of our partners and how their solutions can help your municipality. Before I turn it over to our presenters, I just wanted to say that we also walk the talk here at AMO. We use Notarius's Consigno Cloud e-signing platform to sign documents and agreements digitally within. We have used GHD Digital's accessibility training sessions for our staff. And we are also working with Cloudpermit as well as MPAC to create a seamless end-to-end digital permitting process. So no paper is being used from the initiation of a building permit to its review both by the municipality and by MPAC. And then the assessment report by MPAC sent back to the municipality. We have been piloting this for over a year, and some of the results of that project will be presented at the AMO conference in London at a concurrent session this year. So we hope to see you there if you're attending AMO this year. So with that, I will turn things over to Aubrey to get us started.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for your interest in what Cloudpermit does. We're a Finnish company originally, and now incorporated in Canada and incorporated in the United States, born in 2011. 700 local governments worldwide, 29 states are using our software, and 6 provinces. We have 3 products. Building permitting was our seminal product that we launched in Ontario about 4 years ago, and was the core of our original marriage with AMO. Since we've added planning and bylaw enforcement, we're trying to have the triumvirate, if you wish, of community development in one place. What we do is we give local government building departments of all sizes access to tools and software that have traditionally been accessible only to the largest cities. So we do have a scalable product that works from the large to the small. And the wording here suggests only building, but as you'll see, we've also got the other 2 products that I mentioned. So in the case of building, the process broken down to its core is application, review, permit issuance, inspections, and then closing of a permit. And we were very oriented towards above the line and below the line. Above the line are the applicants, and below the line are your staff. And we've really tried to address, and you can sort of see visually here, and I won't blow through all of the details here, but you see that we've addressed functionality and usefulness for both applicants, which is builders, their representatives, anybody else that you want to be involved in the process, anybody in circulation, and below the line as well for your local government staff. The benefits for applicants and builders, 80% decrease in front counter visits, meaning that for many builder developers and applicants, they don't ever come to the municipality anymore, depending on what your particular processes are and what you permit. On average, 50 kilometers of travel per application is saved, elimination of paper costs and storage, et cetera. For local governments, it's about speed, and you're all, I think, facing the realities of current public policy with respect to housing starts and other changes with respect to development. So all of those benefits on the right-hand side really tie to the return on investment for municipalities. We sell this for one price. It's a subscription price, and it is not charged by user. So it's a scalable licensing model, meaning that we really have built it so that you can be collaborative. You can be collaborative. The municipality can be collaborative with its clients. They can be collaborative with their support functions, their sub-trades. You can be collaborative with anybody you want, and there isn't an uptick in the pricing. So from that point of view, we've tried to be very supportive of a collaborative model. We don't require big capital expenditure up front because this is in the cloud. We host and house all of the software and the data, and it's all done redundantly as well across Canada, so the risk of loss is non-existent. And it's an out-of-the-box product, so it's 80% baked and 20% variable for your municipality. So again, when we talk about planning, and this is the same diagram as before, but scaled a little bit more for a planning product, we've got the same 5 stages, but they have different functionality within them: application, review, public notice, approval, and closeout. And we've got that for most of the product lines within the planning portfolio. And I draw your particular attention to the public notice aspect of this, because that is really where planning becomes quite a bit different in the sense of all the consultation that's required for applicable law reasons, for joint approvals, for consideration of other parties, both inside the municipality and outside. And ours is a very relationship-friendly software. So the applicant portal, anybody can apply 24/7. So we're open for business 24/7. The software is supported on that basis. Our guarantees to the municipality are on that basis. We were down for a total of 37 minutes in all of 2022. So it's easy to plan workflows outside and inside the organization. And there's an applicant dashboard which enables users to monitor the status of all of their applications. So again, it's consumer and client friendly. So users can manage all their projects in one digital workspace. So this is an example of what a user would see. So in this case, at the bottom, they have 4 projects that are in the municipality, and they can keep track of the state of each of them by clicking on them, and it will open up and give all sorts of information. The portal enables applicants and contractors then to collaborate as well, because everybody who's connected to this particular venture can have access to it and monitor simultaneously. Applying for a permit is simple and easy. The automated workflow walks the applicant through the process. So the way we've designed the screens, et cetera, and messages can be displayed to alert the applicant and give them important and timely information. And there is embedded communication technology within this screen to allow two-way between the applicant and your staff. So each permit type is configured to each local government. So that's the 20%. The backbone of this is in fact built, but the 20% adaptation to your local municipal requirements, what you call things, what you name things, what your requirements are for each stage, et cetera, standard documents, which we will digitize for you, et cetera, et cetera. The one point I would highlight here is that we've got the concept of mandatory fields in this. And so for all of our products, building, planning, and bylaw, the main complaint we heard early on from all the municipalities that we consulted before we built was incompleteness. And so we've really created a mechanism where you can determine what incompleteness is and isn't, what is mandatory to be completed at what stage, and that the applicant can't really progress beyond where they're at unless they complete the required requirements. And fee calculation is enabled to assure proper payment as well. The system is built to attract people, whether they are applicants, their representatives, the people who work for them and get involved in the construction process later for inspections, whether your consulting partners in terms of other areas of responsibility, other governments, et cetera, et cetera. So in inviting everybody into this workspace, we also have a lot of capacity in the workspace, and anything from emails to drawings to documents to photographs to messages to documents in all formats can be brought into this space and allow you to have an historical record front to back, time-stamped, fulsome on every application. So applicants can communicate easily if they get stuck anywhere along the way. All chat logs are archived and can be reviewed at any time, and messages are time and date stamped, as I said, as are any other transactions in this, so that you have a full and complete legal record of what took place during the process. The application progress tracker provides the applicant with real-time status updates. So everything happens in real time. If somebody does an inspection and it's uploaded, it's there, it's available, everybody can see that it's happened, etc. Applicants can print anything within this space that they want for their own records, and applicants receive permit status updates via regular email, which are triggered automatically by most of the process steps. We are geographical information system integrated. Everything's parcel based, so that property details, parcel ID, development information, all can be brought into Cloudpermit. We access your resident, municipal, or regional systems to do so. And additional base layers can be configured and added at any time, because more and more information is being added into more municipalities' GIS platforms. On the back office side, your staff can view all their tasks. So there's lots of organizing capability within the system for them to, the minute they log in the morning, to see all of the information that you have delegated them the right to see. They can sort it in many different ways. User access and work functions are configurable and very agile. Staff can create an application for a resident if they can't do it. So the ability for any of your staff to become the applicant and help people out, because we know that the world is not 100% in any direction. And staff and users are alerted via their dashboards when a message is received. So when transactions happen electronically, everybody's apprised of the fact that there's a status change. So if your staff have asked for a new document, they can see that it's been provided. So staff can select or receive assignments on applications to review. So there is a way to, within the system, for you to allocate work and for that to happen, and for people to be picked and chosen, and for things to be added to their work lists and taken away from somebody else's work list, all of that kind of good thing. All messages related to the application are organized and archived. So you have all of the transactions in one place, all date stamped and all available, including all attachments. So all information needed to conduct a review is available: attachments, drawings of all kinds, any other pertinent information that may be received, any other information you may have gotten from another source outside of Cloudpermit can be dragged over and dropped into this for a full record keeping profile. So from an inspections point of view, we use GIS. All inspections are requested electronically. They're loaded into the queue. Inspections can be assigned or chosen depending on how you want to deploy these amongst your inspection staff. And if you have specialized inspectors that can only take a certain kind, plumbing inspectors, for example, all of that is provided for in this particular deployment space. Dispatcher can assign inspections and include special instructions for the inspector, and their trip can be plotted in a mapped format so that it's optimized for travel purposes, and you can get the biggest bang out of the buck and the day for a given inspector. All information needed to conduct the inspection is available via any mobile device. So your inspectors in the field, they simply click on the same data as everybody else, and they can do their inspections uploaded directly, and it's immediately available to everybody who needs to know about it. They can take photos on site, load them up. And the previous inspection history is also available so that an inspector who perhaps got assigned last minute can see what's gone on up until this point. Once the inspection is complete, again, you can sign off. You can leave whatever notes are appropriate, and require comments can be configured in the drop-down menu. So we pre-populate a lot of the standard things that an inspector will look for and comment on, so that they're not scribing all of the English that is required here. They can check off a lot of checkboxes. So reporting across the system writ large, if the data are in this file, they can be reported on. So they can be extracted by category of information, by geography, by date, by form, by applicant, you name it. So the reporting capabilities robust and it's multivariate. That's why we try to provide a means that everything can be put into the system and therefore reported from the system. So just as I wrap up, from a fact point of view, does Cloudpermit integrate with other systems? Generally, we're not the only software in any municipality. In really small municipalities, we're often the first, but not necessarily so in the others. We work to integrate with other systems because it's the order of the day today. Most municipalities are going for best in class. We're one of the best in class categories, but they will have other things that need to be integrated, and we do that all day long. How long will it take? For our part, it's only days, but the real issue is getting the municipality to go digital. And that means how quickly we can train your staff, how quickly we can configure the part that we can change, which are your fee schedules, your drop-down menus, that kind of stuff. So it really is a function of the commitment that your municipality has to getting it done, but it's pretty quick. That's the whole point of cloud-based technology. The build time is much less than on-site builds. Do I need to install any programs to use Cloudpermit? No, again, you're using a subscription service to a software which you've paid for in terms of the rights, and you own and have full access to all of the data that are in that system. Do I need to pay for individual users? The answer is no. Is it end-to-end? Yes, we went from the portal function right through to the closed permits and the issuing of results. And we even monitor construction, right, from the inspections point of view. So we believe ourselves to be a very horizontal product with full functionality through the range and common logic. And if you move from one product, planning to building to bylaw, you will see the great similarity. And for many of your staff, they will have access to all three simultaneously and can integrate the functions that they do. It is end-to-end. Can my citizens who don't love technology use Cloudpermit? Yes, we've got the pressure valve that I suggested of your staff inputting anything that they require, but we also encourage training sessions. We provide a lot of information for your website, and we are happy to help you with the launch, the public launch of this kind of technology and how you communicate to your various stakeholders and get them ready to try it. Do you have any other agencies or governments I can talk to? We have a long list, 700 worldwide, and we'd be happy to give you those kind of contacts. So if you want a demo, please contact me. I'd be happy to set one up on any of our product categories for you and yours. And my contact information follows, and that will be part of the slide deck. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, Aubrey. Excellent presentation. I'll turn things over now to Mark St. Jacques from Notarius. And just to put in a little plug for Mark, Notarius was AMO's first partnership with a digital service provider, and we continue to work well with them. So Mark, I'll pass it over to you to get things going.
Well, thank you very much. All right. Well, as you mentioned, well, here's sort of the first slide. So when it comes to going digital with an e-signature solution, well, one of the first things was sort of, well, what's the background and why AMO selected Notarius? Bottom line is there was an RFP process that was done, and there were a few key elements here of having somebody that could do both electronic and digital signatures. And I'll get into what those are in the next few slides, and also have some experience with municipalities, and I'll be taking you through a few case studies, and also a partner in change management. So our background, although this may feel new for a lot of you and maybe didn't know too much about e-signatures before COVID, fact is we've been doing this now for over 25 years. We are recognized by various government agencies at the federal, provincial, and municipal level. And we are probably the single biggest provider of individual digital signatures to professionals and individuals in the country, with over 51,000 subscribers, users leveraging our digital signatures. So that's a bit of sort of our background. In Ontario, although we partner with different associations also from coast to coast, part of our relationship is the type that we do with AMO with regards to municipalities and one Ontario at the provincial level with this think tank. But we also work closely with professional associations. So whether we're talking about the engineers in Ontario, the architects, the landscape architects, or the technologists, they all use the same tools along with the Appraisal Institute of Canada. And the reason I bring this up is that my focus today is really two-part. One, an education perspective to illustrate that if you are going digital, like with Cloudpermit, that you can receive documents and ensure that those professionals are using the proper digital signing tools to submit the work to you. And also at the same time, talk about Consigno Cloud for your own personal needs from a digital transformation perspective. So these are the partners we work with in Ontario. What we see, though, that is common between both the individual and the organization requirements for going digital is about the same thing. So what are the main pain points that we've seen over the last 25 years? Well, the biggest one, the obvious one, printing, signing, scanning of documents is a major concern. There's still quite a bit of paper. There have been stories in the past of municipalities with archiving that is buckling the floor or just taking up too much room. So that whole printing, signing, scan is a major one. There's also major concerns with just the idea of being able to copy and paste the image of your signature. So hopefully this provides tools and ways to avoid having to do that. Also, what we hear a lot, and I'm sure that Cloudpermit mentioned it in their deck, they talked about reducing the cycles by probably more than 50%. So there's a bit of the same thing here, is how do you reduce the signing cycles for external signers and for internal projects at the same time? Not to mention the whole idea of document storage and are they legally reliable? There's a big challenge there or conversation, but the fact is, look, e-signatures, digital signatures have been around for a long time. They are pretty much recognized as being legally reliable or a legal equivalent. But they're all slightly a bit different, and I'll actually be covering that in the next few slides also. So those are really the main pain points that you're hoping to address from moving from paper to electronic. Some of the feedback that I wanted to share with you before the case studies, those are just this feedback that we got from various AMO members. In this case, the County of Prescott and Russell was one of the first to come on board for even the pilot initiative. And the whole idea for them, as you can read on the screen here, I won't read it out to you, is to reduce the printing of documents. So literally that was their first objective, was really to reduce that effort related to the printing and storing and moving of documents. And one of the things I want to share with you is that for a lot of you, you may have looked at DocuSign, you may have looked at Consigno Cloud, you may be still thinking about it, but I do want to share Marc-André Drouin's advice, because really those are the key elements, because we're not talking about implementing a tool, you're really talking about implementing change. There's a good chance you've never done this before and that this is all new for you. So one, find a positive key player in different departments to come on board to try this out. The other, really see this as a see this less as a technical challenge as it is a change of culture. This is really about changing the culture, and try to do it in a progressive fashion. Don't try to boil the ocean. Choose either resolutions, invoices. On the permitting side, maybe that's another component, but definitely go it piece by piece. Don't try to eat the elephant in one bite. And of course, the whole idea is to get people to go at their own rhythm. Nobody wants changed and post to them. So try to be conscious of that. And if you do that, then you'll be successful in making this transition from paper to electronic. Now, before I actually delve into what we talk about when we're talking about signatures, I want to show you what a digital signature is versus an electronic signature. And this is critical because for a lot of people, the image of going digital is copying and pasting the image of their signature on a document. So that is what we would call an electronic signature. So that could be a stamp, that could be the image of your signature. It could also be a self-signed certificate from Adobe. Unfortunately, the legal reliability of these is pretty low. What we're focused on and what we provide as a tool to you are trusted electronic signatures, and that would be Consigno Cloud. Its equivalent would be an Adobe sign or a DocuSign, but that is where the bulk of the work that you're going to do is going to live. And then last but not least, you have digital signatures. And a digital signature is like a digital passport that's issued to a person or to a professional individual like an engineer or an architect. And that is Certifio Desktop. And the whole idea is that if all you need is a pen, well, then a digital signature is a great pen. If what you need is a pen and an envelope to get somebody else to sign, then a trusted electronic signature might be the better way to go. But so all three exist, but that is pretty much the bulk of what you're going to encounter when it comes to electronic record management. So ask yourself, what do I need here? And it'll fall into one of these three buckets. So when in terms of what it actually looks like though, let's take a look. So I have a PDF here. It's of course of a drawing. So pretend this is a drawing from PEO that was submitted, let's say on Cloudpermit. On the one hand, I would have the image of the seal, and that would be what we call the electronic signature. The digital signature though is found on the side panel, and really it is metadata that cryptographically secures the integrity and the content of the document. So try to imagine that once a digital signature has been placed on the document, it acts like a sheet of glass on top of it. You can still redline and mark up the document. However, that sheet of glass prevents anybody from altering the source content. So you can rest assured that that really is the right person, and that seal and that person are the same. If I looked at more details of that digital signature, I could see the certificate details here, and I could see who it was issued to, and I could see that this was a member of the OAA or this was a PEO engineer and their member number, and essentially everything you'd find on the visual component. So that is really from a, we'll call it professional services perspective, how you would look at using or receiving documents that have been digitally signed. In the case of what you're likely going to encounter, let's say from an outside focus, that would be a trusted electronic signature. So if you notice here, a trusted electronic signature, well, you'd have again the electronic signature. However, instead of being signed by a person belonging to an individual, it's signed by Consigno Cloud. So it's the platform that's taking responsibility. And of course, the variable that would have been used to identify the signer is likely going to be an email and a text message, but you can have the assurance that if you are holding this document, it was secured by the platform and by the individuals. And of course, a trusted electronic signature has also an audit trail, which is sort of the DNA of the entire transaction. So if you're looking for extra legal reliability, the audit trail is part and parcel with the trusted electronic signature. So I'm purposefully trying to keep these two tracks just so we're clear. Digital signature on the one hand, trusted electronic signature on the other. Both have their purposes. So when it comes to the different signing tools, I'm going to take it in two steps. One is the desktop solution, which is Certifio Desktop along with Consigno Desktop. The whole idea here is that this provides you a high level of security. It provides you a lot of flexibility because you can sign multiple documents at once. And of course, that also brings about the efficiency. So on the one hand, you know for sure that this was a technologist or an architect or an engineer in good standing. Then if you are the engineer or the professional working for the municipality, then you also have those same capabilities of being able to batch sign documents, and in your case, batch verify. The other tool, which is the one we've done a lot of demos for, is Consigno Cloud. So that is our e-signature platform. This is the one that's pretty simple to deploy, easy to use. I'll get into examples of increased productivity very shortly, but you're talking about something that is extremely legally reliable, very quick and easy to deploy. Most municipalities can deploy this in a few weeks very easily. So normally we do a few training sessions and people are up and running. The other component, of course, is from a security confidentiality perspective. All the data that is on the website is encrypted at rest, so only people that have access to the account can see it. And in transit, everything is encrypted. And the only way to access documents from the outside world is by having an account, not an account, but having the email and a text message or a shared secret to be authorized to view this material. So it is all secured. So now that we've talked about a digital signature and trusted electronic signatures, and we've talked about the tools themselves as far as Consigno Desktop and Consigno Cloud, those are the signing tools. Let's go through a few case studies, and I've got 4 of them listed here. So on the one hand, Associated Engineering, they're using Certifio Desktop with PEO digital signatures. For them, it was all a question about quality and to have a better product at the end. So for them, this was the key element. What this allowed them to do, though, was to deploy this to over 1,000 employees in 23 offices, and it was extremely easy for them to see the efficiency gains instantly. So this is an Ontario-based engineering firm. Of course, from a municipal standpoint, the city of Huntsville, in their case, the whole idea is from a legal perspective, they really appreciated not having to drive across town or manage paper. What was interesting for them as far as key takeaways, they were able to process invoices at a large scale and reduce their weekly payment turnaround by about 92%. And that, if time is money, this is a perfect example of how a very inexpensive tool, of a few $1,000s can actually get a lot of money back into the municipality hands just by having quicker cycles for authorization or signing. And they were able to deploy everything for their departments in about 3 weeks. Now, if I take the city of Edmonton as another example, they like the whole idea of being able to template documents. So there's a lot of templating to be able to automate a lot of the regular processes that you encounter. And for them, it was about transforming their engineering department to go fully digital and also improve the validation process with external firms. So definitely for them, this was a major transition from the engineering side of things where there's quite a bit of construction going on. And last but not least, the courts for the city of Laval undertook this digital transformation to help improve their practice and make justice more attainable. In their case, the whole idea, again, you see the whole idea about 80% reduction or improvement of efficiency for signing related fees and getting more and quicker turnaround from days to hours. So you can see that this is a very common theme of benefit that we see on a regular basis. Of course, there's plenty of help to assist you. As we wrap up, though, if you have any other questions, want to get a demo, we'll be more than happy to assist you on that. And so thank you very much for the invite, Nick, and I'll turn it back over to you.
So now I'll pass things over to Peter Gingrich from GHD Digital to take us home.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present our solution for barrier-free municipal websites, GovStack. We understand that municipalities' job is to connect, engage, inform, and provide services to its citizens and local businesses. So GovStack is a digital platform that enables you to build websites that are barrier-free and also fulfill that objective of informing and serving. Just a quick note about who we are. GHD Digital is a division of GHD Inc. We're a global engineering and consulting services firm. GHD Digital provides a set of specialized services that enable our clients' transformation to the digital world. We're early players in the space, having just passed 5 years since our formation, which in the world of digital transformation is a fairly long time. GHD Inc. is a privately owned firm. It's been in existence for over 90 years. We have a global network of 200 offices, a lot of them across Canada. This allows us to serve our clients in Canada and around the world. We're 11,000 employees strong and provide a broad range of services, primarily to the public sector. Our size, longevity, and technical expertise ensure that our clients have a capable, progressive, and financially stable partner. Within GHD Digital, there's a group called Products and Platforms. So that is the group that I belong to. Product and Platforms, we have about 150 staff that are developing and maintaining SaaS products, digital solutions, mostly for municipal government, also in the healthcare and education industry. We've been working with municipalities for 20 plus years, co-creating, developing online solutions for over 600 clients in Canada, mostly in Ontario. We understand what municipalities want, and we know what they need because we have listened. We've also done extensive market research, surveys, and insight reports to determine where the municipal market is headed in the future. To answer this market and respond to your needs, we have built GovStack. Just quickly, a few of the clients that we have, got Durham, Kitchener, Waterloo, Essex, Lambton. We're strong in the GTA, but also Northern and Southwestern Ontario. We work all across Canada, but we have a large presence in Ontario, having worked with almost 400 of the 444 municipalities in the province. All right, I'm excited to speak to you today about GovStack and how this platform can provide websites that are barrier-free. So what is a barrier-free website? The term barrier-free can mean several things. It should be usable, easy to access, and find the information residents are looking for with minimal clicks. A website that is usable has the information organized logically, using terminology that is appropriate for the residents, not necessarily for staff, as used to be in the early days of website development. And the information should be presented in a visually pleasing manner. It should be accessible and convenient. Information and service delivery is available 24/7 and is provided and presented in compliance with AODA regulations for Ontario municipalities, as well as the global standard of WCAG 2.0 AAA. The website should be available. 99.95% uptime is the minimum standard expected by today's users. Anything over that is even better. The website should be relevant. So information on the site is accurate, timely, and easy to find. Website is searchable by keyword, visual calls to action, and easy to understand navigation. Old, outdated information has been removed from the site to ensure accurate communication and avoid confusion for the resident. It should be device friendly, no matter what device the resident is using, desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphone. The experience for the end user should be functional, accessible, and convenient, and not determined by the constraints of the device. Barrier-free also applies to internal staff who manage the website. Municipalities need a website solution that's easy to use, is cost efficient, and where possible, utilizes automated processes to manage the content on the website. Some of the problems we solve, product development is all about solving problems and delivering value. So we provide a 24/7 service delivery platform. That means a citizen can submit an issue report, whether that be a pothole or a street light out. They can renew a pet license, apply for a marriage license if they want to do that at 3 a.m. in the morning, instead of waiting for the office to open, at 8 a.m. the next day or on the weekend. So, a 98% cost reduction by offering services online. I've got some data in a farther slide that will support that. You may, I'll show that in a continuing slide, but obviously, if you can get your residents to do their services online, you can drastically reduce your costs. Our platform also gives municipalities full control to manage and communicate efficiently. The CMS is very easy to use. It is easy to update. You don't need any technical expertise. So a lot of it is just point and click, enter some content. The platform is very flexible as well. So you can start out with a base solution, and then as you want to add features and functionality to that, it's easily added on at a future date as time and budgets permit. We've integrated with a large number of third-party systems that are in use by municipalities today. So that's a possibility down the road to add those things in. And most importantly, probably it's secure and accessible. So we meet all legislative requirements. We use bank level security. Enhanced protection from cyber attacks, denial of service, hacking, etc., and other forms of malicious activity. Just want to talk a little bit about the current municipal landscape and how the pandemic in particular has forever changed how municipalities inform, connect, and serve their residents. Expectations have changed for all of us. Recent data shows that your residents, many of whom are now comfortably working from home, they work from home, but they also want to conduct all their personal tasks and errands at home. They want their services delivered online to the greatest extent possible. You know, at my door or in my inbox, that's the expectation now with Amazon and online ordering and those sort of services. This expectation is a challenge for municipalities, but in return, satisfied citizens are 9% more likely to get out to vote. 75% are less likely to speak negatively about their local governments, and they're more likely to get involved and volunteer in their community. This is an interesting slide. 20% of today's workforce between 55 and 64 years of age. That's an issue in itself, but Patrick Gill from the Canadian Chamber of Commerce also adds that 36% of all Canadian businesses are feeling that labor shortage. And then aside from that, we pile on COVID. COVID hit, public sector employees felt very vulnerable, and a large number of them retired. A survey of public sector employees conducted at the end of 2021 by Mission Square Research Institute revealed that 50% of them were considering leaving their jobs, which is a huge number, you imagine, in the public sector. Things have improved somewhat in the last year or two, but the people returning to the workforce are the young and middle-aged, not the older workforce. And young people are looking for digitally enabled jobs, which are more common in the private sector, which is, again, another challenge for municipalities. There are currently 1 million open jobs in Canada, the largest vacancy ever in our country's history. So government has to do more with less. This means moving valuable human resources off repetitive tasks that can be accomplished with technology and redeploying them where strategic decision-making and human input is required. Another interesting slide here about the cost of service delivery. You can see the difference here between the cost to handle an in-person service inquiry and the cost to handle online. Huge difference between doing something online and having somebody come into your office to have that service, whether that be a pet license or marriage license or permit, whatever that may be. Much more value for your residents and for the municipality to move those services online. And as the taxable population and labor market shrinks, and also you factor in the massive cost of COVID, municipal governments need to look for ways to cut costs. So what's the solution? So as I said before, we've listened to the feedback from our clients, and we've developed GovStack. So GovStack is a solution that enables digital transformation, which is taking place across all levels of government. And it's not coming, as I'm sure you're all aware, it's happening now. So that's why we're here today. I'm going to tell you how we address the issues I've mentioned by providing a barrier-free website to your residents and businesses. So the GovStack platform consists of 4 main components. The core component is the website content management, or CMS. This component houses the design and the bulk of the content for your website. It's a modern, easy-to-use tool that enables your communications, IT, and other departments to keep their content timely, relevant, and accurate. Within the CMS, there are also mini modules, such as a news tool that makes posting important news, emergency notifications, and other happenings within your community easy and efficient. GovStack contains an events module. This module provides website administrators with the ability to post important events, such as council meetings, community events, emergencies. Next, we have our GovStack Forms tool. your website content manager can easily create accessible mobile-friendly forms that enhance the user experience and enable online service delivery for things such as pet licenses, marriage license, issue reporting, feedback forms, and so much more. The general situation with a lot of municipalities is that there's a lot of PDF forms on their website. They may or may not be accessible. So our forms tool is a great solution because those forms can be recreated from the simplest form right to the most advanced. E-commerce can also be enabled on those forms. So if you wanted to enable payment for some of these services, that can be implemented as well. And then finally, the last component of GovStack platform is the Citizen Portal. Citizen Portal is a web-based personalized area that the resident will log into. Once their account is created, the Citizen Portal allows the resident to create their own dashboard. There's widgets of information that are most relevant to them. They can add them to their dashboard. They can drag them around depending on their preferences. Citizen Portal really brings everything into one central location. It's all information that is on your website, but what it does is the true value lies in that it eliminates the need for them to go hunting all over your website for those things. It brings them into one area. We can enable things like, for example, you can have property taxes on there. You can see if they have their address in there. You can see what's the closest swimming pool, what's the closest park. So very personalized, customized experience for the resident. GovStack is scalable, as I said before. It can evolve over time as your online presence grows. The back office area, the administrative area is very modern, clean, easy to use. There's, as I said before, there's no coding required. You drag content blocks of information around to build your pages. It enables your staff to have complete control over the design and content of the website too. So in the past, with a lot of website vendors, you had to go back to the vendor if you wanted to update your homepage or change the layout of a page. We've listened to the feedback from our users, and GovStack really provides a lot of control, almost total control over the design of your website now, making simple little changes. You're not reliant on a third-party vendor to make those changes. While it is easy to use, I should also say that it's also very powerful for users that have a little bit more advanced technical expertise. You can access the CSS, the HTML, and some of those fine design elements of the website for those that are comfortable doing so. Other options with GovStack too, of course, you have your municipal website, but it can be extended to other areas such as economic development, tourism, police, library, and more. Here's a couple examples here on the screen of an economic development template or look and feel. If you have police services in your municipality, they can have their own standalone website. Libraries are another example, museums, for those areas that where they need a little bit of a unique look and feel and maybe some different calls to action. The development of microsites in GovStack is a very straightforward thing to do. And then finally, just to finish off, another potential for a microsite would be tourism. So this is quite common in municipalities, particularly those with a strong focus on tourism. Usually there's a need for a very unique, a more visual template or design for a tourism site. So GovStack really makes it easy to do that. Thank you everyone for your time today and the opportunity to present. If you'd like to continue the conversation, just reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Peter, for the presentation. Thank you also to Aubrey and to Mark for their presentations as well. So we can maybe get to a couple questions here in the next 5 minutes. So a question came in, and this one is, I'm going to pass it to you, Aubrey. It's about Cloudpermit. What other types of planning permits does Cloudpermit have to offer? Is there subdivision information? Is there a link resource for this information?
Thanks very much. We have configured a lot of variability in the planning product. You really need to see a full demo of it to sort of appreciate all of that. The modifications that Bill 23 and 97 have sort of brought to the table with respect to condominiumization, new forms of subdivision of land, are all things that we're tracking and changing in our system. We need the GIS platform of the municipality to follow that trajectory, but we are sensitive to the kinds of new changes, the new subdivision approaches that are being developed across Canada in response to the development of new housing, so and other uses. So happy to talk about that in a deeper dive. But that's right on our agenda. And in terms of resource material, we're happy to share all of our resource material with you in a private demo.
Thanks. I don't see any questions, but I will toss one out to all three of our speakers. And this question comes from my director, Judy. Judy always likes getting this question in. In terms of change management for municipalities, can you speak a bit to your plans when municipalities are starting to implement these solutions? I know a lot of people are very, very reticent to get rid of their paper processes. So what change management plans do you have in place for municipalities when they implement your solutions? And I'll start maybe this time with Mark.
Thank you. From a change management perspective, I think it really comes back to what I was talking about earlier in the presentation, which is focus on a smaller group with smaller document types, if you will, to I'll say digest that first step of going digital. Don't try and do the biggest, most complicated process to start. And where we've seen, let's say, I'd say the only exception I've seen in that, it would be the resolutions, where it's a high volume of documents, but it's a small amount of people that are signing those. So definitely go small, and that would be my recommendation.
Thanks, Mark. Peter?
Really, the thing we face a lot of times is just obviously the people that are being asked to make the change. We have to instill that level of comfort with them. We provide a lot of training. So we've been doing this for over 20 years. We provide training, during the project. We make sure that they have follow-up support. We have a great process as well in terms of project management. We're ISO certified. We have to go through a very defined process together. So really just instilling that level of comfort. And because I'm part of an organization that really focuses on digital transformation, I think we're well versed in that area.
Thanks, Peter. And Aubrey, I know that building officials, it's very, very hard for them to get rid of that paper. What processes does Cloudpermit have in place?
Well, I think it really starts on our basic premise. I mean, going cloud and having a product that's 80% out of the box is one way of trying to match the paradigm shift that you've tried to produce, which is to minimize the dependency of municipalities on their IT functions and on support networks by having something that's robust. At the same time, the implementation itself has lots of layers to it, and we actually configure everything in the background, but many municipalities stage their way into going public with their product. There are examples in British Columbia, for example, where some municipalities have only gone live with one product line, which might be freehold homes, for example, in building, and they stage their way in. Everything else is functional, and so we set you up functionally, but how you take it to market, if you wish, is a function of the comfort you have, the number of people you've got engaged, the level of training and comfort of your staff, that sort of thing. So we're pretty nuanced on how you actually stage and the difference between how we get you prepared behind the scenes and then how you sort of take it to market and transition from your current work process, which again is often another technology and or manual, into a kind of a new world. So by definition, I think all three of us are in the change management business one way or the other. That starts with people and ends with people. The technology is merely a means to an end. And so that convincing of people about the new reality is just part and parcel of the whole thing. I will tell you that the natural evolution of things, though, leads people over time to say, this software allows me to do this differently than I used to do it. So we set people up for a current version of the world, but the technology has lots of capability for people to flow with it once they get more comfortable.
Excellent. Thanks. That concludes our webinar. So thanks again to Aubrey, to Mark, and Peter for presenting today, as well as Fern again behind the scenes with LAS and helps us keep us organized for these webinars. And I believe that all of our digital service partners will be exhibiting at the Trade Hall at the AMO conference in London this year. Aubrey, Peter, and Mark. So please, if you're attending, drop by their booths in the Trade Hall and say hello. And finally, thanks to all of you for listening in and participating today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. So thanks, everyone.